So this is my first book, and you are also my first public event ever. So thank you. Yeah, you are all my guinea pigs, and I feel very inexperienced and a little bit terrified, and I'm going to just do my very best. And I'm just so glad that there are a lot of friends here because that helps a lot. And I'm just curious, how many of you have actually read the book already? Oh, that's good. Okay, great. That's great. Okay, so I will catch up the rest of you up. This was 1994, the Scene at Borders books. I quit acting. Our family moved here to raise our children after an earthquake in Los Angeles, although I grew up right around here. And when we came back, having nothing to do, I started editing books with a friend, and I eventually became the point person for my mother, who moved back from Florida. And she's a rather colorful person. And she, there are seats right up here if you guys want to come up, if you're comfortable. Okay, because this is about a 15-minute reading. So, if you want to sit, now's the time. All right. Anyway, my mother, she is a very colorful person, and some people here actually do know her. After my father died, she decided to become an Orthodox Christian nun, right in the middle of the most crucial phase of a life and death struggle with rectal cancer. I was emailing updates on the situation to my out-of-town siblings, trying to make them entertaining enough to cheer us all up a little bit, and it became clear that I was actually writing a book about our relationship, which was a pretty complicated relationship, and also about the frustrations of guiding an elderly person through the medical system. So I'm going to read a chapter that takes place in the middle of the book. It's a visit to our new surgeon. And what you need to know is that my mother's nun ceremony, which is called a tonsure, took place the week before this chapter happened.
Try again, Susan.
Okay. How's that? Is that good?
In the back now? Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. It was a nun ceremony. It is called tonsure, and it took place a week before this chapter began. And she's just getting the hang of her new identity as Mother Bridget, formerly known as Marjorie von Maschisker. And so her appearance is changing. She will never cut her hair again, and she will wear only black, which she's getting ready to do. And she does have one splash of color that she wears, which is she has a cloth thing around her neck with a big square thing, and on it is this red embroidered Greek lettering that's called a schema. And that's just about all you need to know. So the chapter is called The Wizard. It's 4 p.m. on a Friday. We have been sitting here in the waiting room for an hour, and we are both fit to be tied. Let's go home. Ma? We borrowed a wheelchair today at the door of Franklin Hospital. Ma's back is bothering her, so luckily she can't storm out on her own steam. This appointment was almost impossible to get, and we need it. The new surgeon has agreed to perform his specialty, ta-ta, and I don't think he and Ma have spoken candidly enough about what they're getting her into. Ta-ta will give Ma a reconstructed rectum sans tumor with no dreaded colostomy bag. This would be fantastic, except that the new rectum won't be as clever as communicating its plans in advance as Ma's original model. If you're old and prone to bouts of mobility impairment, there is a real lifestyle concern. If things go as planned, Ma will have to stay within close range of a bathroom at all times. Ma thinks Dr. Lawson is a genius because he's very sympathetic to her aversion to permanent colostomy. He's quickly slotted her as one of those patients who'd rather die than have a bag, and he's right. This is why she moved on from Pete, another surgeon who recommended a similar procedure, a simpler procedure, the one I still think she should have. Ma kept looking around for more opinions. She would not have agreed to do anything at all if this Lawson fellow hadn't promised a new, albeit temperamental, rectum, and she thinks it's very negative of me to assume the worst about this plan. I just want her to be able to have a life. Overnight trips to the church in Carlisle, lunch dates with friends. Ma's been too discreet to get into the details with Dr. Lawson. When we scheduled the operation, I was overjoyed she had finally agreed to do something, and I figured we'd sort out the specifics later. But at this point, I can't decide whether I want to hug Lawson or kick him. The man's office is like Fort Knox. He won't correspond with me by email the way Pete did, and he hasn't responded to my phone calls and messages. Surgery is on Monday, and if it weren't for today's appointment, I'd be plotting to throw myself across his operating table, demanding an audience. The more we sit here, the crankier we get. There's a flat screen in the corner of the waiting room. It plays nothing but irritating ads on a loop, soft, gauzy lighting showing how happy everyone is frolicking through the leafy meadows, all hopped up on their breakthrough medicines. Around the corner near the door leading to the the exam rooms, there is a small, hopeful cluster of professionals dressed for success with their briefcases full of drug samples, pharmaceutical salespeople waiting to pounce on any doctors that appear. We haven't had time to shop for the black nun clothes yet. Ma's been determinedly wearing the darkest nightshirt she has every day since the tonsure, along with that cloth thing with the red embroidered Greek lettering. She's harumphing through the one piece of reading material in the room, a pamphlet with dull hospital news. I'm playing Spider Solitaire on my phone and beginning to worry about the battery reserve. A noise is coming from the lower ribcage area of a woman sitting at my other side. There is a crackly, ventriloquistic tone to it, like she's hidden a walkie-talkie up her shirt and someone on the other end is passing gas into it. The woman pokes herself and it stops. I've been hearing about issues with gas in colostomy bags. This sound does seem more disturbing than your average run-of-the-mill fart. Unnatural, as Ma would say. It's a good thing Ma's hearing aid doesn't work well, or she'd really want to make a dash for it. It has now been an hour and a half since we got here. Ma shifts in her wheelchair. This is ridiculous. What? There's no point. What are you talking about, Ma? This appointment or the surgery? Both. I feel fine. Let's go home.